Someone sent me a reel the other day about why American men are choosing to go find women in foreign countries, Asians, Latinas, Eastern Europeans. And I wanted to talk about this from a psychology perspective and maybe even a little bit of dark insight to what I think has actually happened here. Because the explanation being pushed is simple, that American women have changed, that they've become too masculine, too independent, too superficial. Uh, the rise of the boss girl, queen era energy. And so men are leaving because they want something more traditional. They believe that maybe feminism has driven them to go look for women that existed before feminism was a thing. And that explanation is convenient, but it's not real. It's not honest. It's a really nice excuse. Really doesn't help anybody. Because if you actually zoom out and really take a look at when this all started, it goes back to World War II. It goes back to the time and era when we told our men, go off and die. And at the same time, we told women, you'll be just fine without them. And the exact cloth that American women are made of is the reason that they were able to go pull rivets on a P-51 Mustang. The exact cloth today that men say is boss girl energy, is too masculine, is exactly what was expected of women during that time. And that's really when the pendulum started to swing. And I believe that this isn't a conversation about feminism. That's a shallow take. I think the conversation has got distorted because men didn't stay untouched in all of this. They were also shaped and conditioned and sold an identity. They were sold an identity of what success looks like and what true masculinity looks like and what relationships are supposed to look like. And that was all what the establishment wanted you to see and believe. And it played to the exact appeal that women and men had at the time. Women wanted independence. They wanted some sovereignty. They wanted equality. But I'm not sure that the independence and equality that they got is actually what they were ever looking for. Because I hear women say today, feminism did nothing for me except add more to my plate. The women learned how to survive without depending fully on men, and men were handed a version of themselves that in the long term was not sustainable. And that's the tension. So when men say that they're going to go overseas to find a traditional relationship, it might be some temporary relief, less pushback, less challenge, less resistance, a little bit of comfort, but it's not peace. And the relief doesn't last. Because the thing that the men are actually avoiding is themselves. So you don't just leave a pattern without changing the underlying behaviors. You just change the setting. You just delay the inevitable. And the reality is, if you need to be with someone you feel is smaller so that you can feel stable, that's not tradition. That's compensation. And women aren't exempt from this either. Because while men were handed a distorted version of masculinity, women were handed a version of femininity that forgot how to receive, forgot how to just be. They were gifted something they never wanted. And our DNA didn't forget. Within me, I have my grandmother and my grandfather's DNA. That wounding, that trauma. And it's just ironic that the very thing that the men wanted the women to step up and do is now the thing they despise the most. But at the end of the day, the cloth that the women are cut from is what they truly desire, just not in the way it's being presented now. I often hear women say that they wish they weren't raising another child, and they're talking about their spouse. And we wonder why there's such a porn addiction problem and no intimacy in relationships. The parent-child dynamic is never going to survive an intimate relationship. And the American women are equally responsible. I'm not saying they're not, but the American men happily settled in to the Al Bundy hand down their pants, Bart Simpson dad role of being a bumbling buffoon. They willingly took on the title. Both sides are guilty. And I'm not here to argue gender, not today, but both sides are equally responsible for where we are. This isn't about American women losing their way, and it's not about men being driven out. This is about what happens when an entire culture is shaped by something that never actually served them any good. When an establishment delivers identities to people who never really wanted it, not with the strings that came attached. And what you're seeing now is a generation of people who inherited this. We didn't consciously choose it, but we're living it. And if you don't examine it, you just recreate the same dynamic in a different country with a different face with the same outcome. Because you can cross an ocean and you'll still meet yourself there. So maybe the question isn't where you go. It's who you are when you get there, and can you actually sustain what you want? I think the best thing that can happen to both men and women, at least in America, is to realize that the system has been completely designed so that you feel the exact discomfort that you feel right now. And when you realize that and you can take a look at the dynamic for what it really is, then you know that what you have to create to actually feel good is a lot more work than you're willing to do.